you feeling? We good? You let me know.
I just gotta sign in.
Dot the I's. No, wait. Yeah, dot the I's. Cross the T's.
Got it. I's are crossed. T's are... Lowercase t's are also crosses.
Nice. Like the Christian cross. Oh, we should put religious cult as a genre one time.
Oh. Next time.
Next time on. Hello and welcome to Blue Sky Podcast, episode 6. I am Adeel.
And I am Jono.
And we are your hosts. Over here in Blue Sky Podcast land, we are going to write a script today. We're going to write a short film script that is birthed from these prompts in this bowl. We have a bowl here. If you're not watching the video, we have a bowl here with different prompts. I wrote 5. Jono wrote 5. The prompts can be anything, but usually they're genres, like film genres. Like last week was what?
Last week.
Serial killer,
thriller.
Serial killer, and then in brackets, thriller. That was last week's, and then this week I put some fun ones. I'm kind of excited for my picks. How do you feel about the ones you put in here?
Yeah, I mean, I always feel like they're good ideas when I'm writing them, and then when I draw them out, I feel instant remorse. So who knows how I feel about these ones here today.
Yeah, so we take that prompt, it could be any genre, and then we write like a 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 to page script. Every week it changes a little bit. We thought it was going to be 5 pages every time, but I think we're averaging at 6.
Yeah, it turns out we need a little more time to tell succinct yet fun stories.
Yeah.
And
And
what you're going to hear is going to be raw. It's going to be off the dome. You're going to hear us kind of do a little blue sky pitch of ideas that may or may not work. And then you're going to hear a little recording of that script at the end of the episode.
Exactly. Yeah. We literally write a first draft. So it's like whatever comes out of us, we write onto the page. Sounds a little disgusting, but you know what I mean. And then we record the radio drama. We literally play out the parts that we wrote. We play out the script. And we do that all in one episode.
It's a lot of work, folks. It's a lot of work.
It is, but it's fun work.
Yeah. And it's a beautiful day here in Toronto,
California,
for us to be screaming in the dark. It's great. Want
to get to the prompts?
Let's get to the prompts.
The prompt.
Okay, now we have come to the moment where I reach into the Forsaken Bowl and I draw a piece of paper at random and hope for the friggin' best.
I kind of wanted to be one of mine because I liked my choices today.
I hope it's one of yours.
All of yours makes us work, and I love it.
Okay, I got something.
What color's the ink? Can you tell? Because I know right away then.
I think it's yours.
Oh, no, I'm nervous.
Oh, interesting. Rom Com.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right. Keeping it simple.
Yeah, we've been diving into the comedy quite a bit, and I feel like it's more of our wheelhouse than, say, hard-hitting drama.
Yeah. Maybe I should have kept that, because I did have everything else was not a com, but yeah, I'm cool with rom-com. How do you feel about that?
I'm trying to decide, because didn't we...
We did the musical that was a rom-com.
Right.
Kind of.
Yeah.
And then we had slapstick that wasn't a rom-com. We had action that wasn't a rom-com. We had serial killer and boy family story.
Right. Okay. Well,
so we haven't really done a rom-com, like a love story that ends happy. Because even our musical thing was fucking dark at the end.
It's true. Yeah. Someone was being stalked and maybe going to be dead in the future. Okay, well,
Charlie's going to die.
Why don't we do something different with it? Like maybe it's self-contained, or it's like a bottle episode, so to speak. Like it's like a one location picnic or something. You know what I mean? That we can try and get the rom-com arc through.
You know what it sounds like you're doing right now? You're doing the Blue Sky.
Okay.
So we should probably go to the Blue Sky section.
Let's go to the prompt. Fuck.
This is the Blue Sky part.
I feel like in an effort to make it different and maybe not fall into, I don't know, the same thing, even though we're just beginning this, I'm probably overthinking it, but maybe we do something interesting where it's just one location or one instance or just like one piece of a big story that kind of follows the arc of a rom-com.
Okay. How about this? Let's define rom-com real quick, right? So rom-com is a romantic comedy.
What? I thought it was like a Roman Empire sort of thing. And it's about them communicating.
Roman communications.
Roman
You thought it was Roman communications.
Damn it. That's why I was reluctant at the beginning. I just misunderstood the prompt.
You're like, oh fuck, oh rom-coms. Oh yeah, we'll do that now. Yeah, romantic comedies for sure. Okay, so rom-coms, that's where they come from. Romantic comedy, that wayward genre of sweet serendipity and forgivably thin plots.
Well, we're in fucking luck today.
Yeah,
Forgivably thin. That's what my nickname was in high school.
What?
Forgivably thin.
Okay, how about this? Let's start off some of your favorite rom-coms.
Well, okay, I think my favorite rom-com is a parody of rom-coms, and it's called They Came Together.
Oh, so good.
By David Wayne.
Yeah.
Starring Paul Rudd and Amy Poehler. And it's basically just every single rom-com trope with the gas pressed down as hard as humanly possible. It's super goofy, but it's told straight face. It's very slapstick.
It's super winky to the camera. Yeah. Everything is like, well, I mean, like wink in the sense of like everything's so like, oh, this is what happens in rom-coms, but like it's a scary movie of rom-coms.
Yeah, and it's hard to say because like I think back to like the classics like the John Hughes movies, like High Fidelity and Say Anything and shit like that. But to me, those movies, like, I guess I liked them in the past, but I don't find they hold up very well because it's always like the dude just being really audacious and like basically exhibiting stalker behavior to, win the heart of a woman who's just this sort of two-dimensional character,
Yeah.
So I find that they don't really age well, and like fucking what's that movie? God, thinking on it's like a Christmas movie.
Love Actually.
So
I was gonna mention that as one of my favorites.
Yeah.
You don't like it?
Well, I do like it. I remember liking it, but I feel like I've had a conversation recently where just everything is kind of called out as bullshit. Like it's just such a weird, weak thing.
What do you mean?
And, well, it's the same thing. It's like playing on these weird gender roles and like assumptions that like if men are persistent enough, they can win the hearts.
Love Actually
of women.
doesn't do that.
Doesn't it?
I don't know why I said like didn't do that.
But I don't think like any of the movies like went in like that. It's just the lens through which those movies were produced at the time they were produced, No,
for sure. Like, so I was gonna say like my favorite things or favorite rom-coms, are the ones that are a bit more creative in the way they tell stories. So the reason I liked Love Actually was it was like the first of the whole like, like Valentine's Day, Happy like New Year. There was all these movies that came out afterwards that were like, here's 10 big name like A-list actors in 10 different stories that connect. Right. To me, Love Actually is the one that did that format the best. And it was like Liam Neeson is in one story and like Alan Rickman is in one story and like Mr. Bean has a cameo and like what's her name? She's so good. Emma Thompson.
As Mr. Bean, Rowan Atkinson has one. Okay,
yeah. Sorry, Rowan Atkinson.
He came in, he's like,
he's always Mr. Bean to me. Rowan Atkinson, the great. What's her name? Emma Thompson, I want to say, the British actor. She played Professor Trelawney in Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Yeah, Emma Thompson, she's so great in that. And there's like, just a huge cast, but they're all like the stories connect in that. So Love Actually to me is one of my favorites, but also two more that again, because of formatting and the creativity of it. And like you said, I totally agree. Like they're not two dimensional to me are 500 Days of Summer.
Yeah.
Which I think is a complicated rom-com because not even.
That's starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Zooey Deschanel, which we talked about during the musical episode.
Oh, we did a little bit.
Yeah.
But that movie to me is like, it's such an interesting way to tell a love story, like the ending, the way they jump through the timeline, and then how it ends bittersweet, where she tells him like she doesn't want to be with him, but then time passes and she grows as a woman and a person, as a human, and is like, this is what I want. And then he goes through heartbreak, and it's like just so interesting. Like it's very different.
It's a little less of the like everybody wins and like all the guys weirdly creepy behavior.
That's the thing. In the love story, he's like obsessed with her in a way, like he's so love struck, but it's cute, and it's not like he's stalking her. It's like he just works with her. He's really into her, and then it's her making the first move even to kind of be like, taking control of things because. Yeah, you're right. They didn't usually show that much. It was like the guy had to do the initiation of everything, and now it became more like, okay, what does real love these days feel like or look like?
Right. And it's not linear, right? It's like if I recall correctly, it's all over the place. Yeah,
it's like if
really
Nolan
cool.
made a rom-com. Christopher Nolan.
Who?
The guy who made Inception.
I didn't know you like Christopher Nolan. That's weird. Cool. I mean, that makes me like you even more. You know what?
I can feel Katie rolling her eyes.
Yeah. I think I have to amend a statement about Love Actually. I believe I may have confused my Hugh Grant movies, and I was thinking about Bridget Jones's Diary.
Oh,
Because I had a conversation about that, how there's a lot of like...
never seen that one.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a long time, but I was talking to my partner about it. And apparently, like, there's a lot of quips about Renee Zellweger's weight in it. Like, she's like a bigger girl, apparently, in that movie, which I think is completely insane because, A, we shouldn't be talking about shit like that, but also she's fucking just an average human being, you know? Like, why are there jokes about that with these fucking weird, ugly men with giant heads?
You know what's funny, though? In Love Actually...
my statement there, but making fun of men instead of women, but hey.
Overcorrection. It's funny is in Love Actually that also happens. Like the girl Hugh Grant falls in love with is like she works at the office, the White Office version of the UK Prime Minister. I don't know what that's called. The office.
The White House.
The White House. It's the same thing, but just with an accent. The one he falls in love with, she's like a employee there, like a staff member, and they make weight jokes about her too in it.
That's fucking...
What is that? That's so interesting. Hugh Grant's insane. Like in his contract is like, I fall in love with someone, but we gotta call her chubby.
It's like, what do you want to walk away with this movie? Everyone should walk away with this movie with an eating disorder. So,
ooh, you know what's another great one? 10 Things I Hate About You.
10 Things I Hate About You, yeah, if I recall correctly.
Creative again, very
I feel
different.
like I just blew so many movies out the hatch because, like, I remember that movie and really enjoying it and completely not forgetting it. Would you consider, like, the Judd Apatow, like, Knocked Up? They're romantic comedies.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Knocked Up, This Is 40, that
This
kind
is
of
40
shit.
is so good, yeah. That's a good point, yeah, they are. Even, like, Trainwreck with Amy Schumer and Bill Hader.
Oh, yeah, I like that movie a lot,
good.
yeah.
I think that's, like, the most I've liked her. She was really good in that.
Eliza Schlesinger?
You're making up names now.
That's no. The movie was called Good on Paper, and it's apparently a real story that she. Is that right?
Yeah.
She met a dude out in the world in LA when she was kind of up and coming as a stand-up, and this dude like said he worked for a hedge fund. He was like super rich, and like they kind of hit it off and did shit. But it turned out that he was just a fraud. Like people would see him out at bars, like just completely fucked up and trying to get drinks from people and being like, I'm dating this amazing stand-up Eliza Schlesinger, and like just doing this weird sort of clout grab thing.
Wow, what the?
And then she made it into a romantic comedy, and it was really good. Like it was a really enjoyable watch. That dude from Party Down.
Yeah, I'm trying to find his name because I just saw him. Look at the poster. Oh, Ryan Hansen. He's really funny. I find him funny.
Awesome. And just quick shout out to the new season of Party Down. It's really good.
Is it?
Oh yeah. That cast is just.
I couldn't
give them to me.
get through season 1, and I just feel like it's like The Office. You know, when you start The Office and it just feels a bit off in the first season, you're like I love The Office, but when I first watched it, the first season took me a little getting used to because the tone is different, and
that's fair.
It's like just toned down because the budget's lower too, so you're like feeling the toned down versions of everything.
Yeah.
So season 1 took me a while, so I got to give it a proper shot because everyone I know says it's like really funny.
It's pretty cool.
It's Paul Rudd is a co-creator, I swear.
Yeah, he is.
So interesting. So I think that's enough movie talk because we probably start writing now a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. So what not to do? Let's not make anyone feel shitty about their body. Let's not make because like rom-coms are built on cliches, right?
Yeah.
So like you need the meet cute, you need the like sort of stuttering rise of their relationship. You need them to kind of connect and then have a fight, and then will they, won't they at the end. And sometimes that's tied up in a nice little bow, like they will or they won't, or it's murky. You know what I mean? So I think those are kind of the overall beats of a normal rom-com.
Rom-com, yeah.
A very top line, 30,000 view of the beats. But what can we do in 6 to 7 to 8 pages that encapsulates this in an interesting way?
Well, you need your main character. It could be like, I don't know, like Legally Blonde, like, her character, you know right off the bat who she is, or in any other movie, like, like what the main character who's going to fall in love is, you know? So we could either do it in a way where we're following 2 characters. So it's like one person wakes up and she's getting ready for work, and then cut to this other guy wakes up and he's getting ready for work. and then they both, go about their lives, and then around the second page mark, they kind of run into each other.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of build both up separately, then they meet each other, meet cute, then they go apart, and again, like what I'm thinking now as you say that, or as we go over like the steps of it, we can even go the route of like a Pixar short. Like it's very like through 5 minutes you're kind of getting this very intense love story. Like, have you ever seen this Paper Planes? I think it's called. It's a Pixar short. These two people meet, and then
I have.
They work
stills
across
of it. It's like a 2D animated kind of thing. Yeah.
No,
It's
no,
3D?
no, it's 3D.
Okay.
I believe it's 3D. And then it's
Then
like
I
they just
don't.
work near each other, and then he throws paper planes to get her attention, and it's like a whole thing, and it's like a 5 minute short or like less even, and you're like so drawn in. You're like I'm with them. So it's like to make a rom-com work that's a short film, I think we have to get in there like into the intensity of how cute their meet cute is.
Okay. For sure. I just feel like the amount of time we have to tell the story, like it's just going to kind of feel like we're just blasting through these beats. So like what if it is just the meet cute, but you kind of hit the like, the chance encounter, the stuttering build of their relationship, them falling in love, and then maybe something happens. But okay, just bad idea, blue sky, bad idea, throw it at the wall. Meet cute, but meat is spelled MEAT, and someone goes into a butcher shop to get meat, and then something happens, and these people fall in love. Like, could there be in the middle of a robbery or something like that, and that's how they bond? Or
yeah, so no, that's great, because I was what I was gonna suggest, and we could make the butcher shop the place. But I was gonna say literally, like, my pitch was gonna be, what if the whole love story is on a bus? So someone gets on, like, it's a transit love story where like the subway where it sits, and then they
Love
make
in
eye
motion.
contact, and then day two, like we can even do like same location over and over again. So the meat shop, for example, or the subway, where it's like they get in, they make eye contact, cool, cut. Next day they get there, they're sitting closer now. And he notices she has a book that, he looks at her, they smile. Next day, he has the same book. So he kind of signals to her that he, like, is paying attention to her. And then next day, she does something to show that she's paying attention to him. And it's like one of the days she shows up and he's, like, running late. And you see her all anxious. And as the doors are closing, and this is the subway version, we can still do it at the butcher shop. As the doors are closing, he runs in. And you have this moment of, like, she's like, oh, he made it.
And then it drives away and you see them in the window or something.
Yeah, and it's just really cute because it's like they actually had this anticipation for each other, even though they've never talked yet.
I like that. I like that line of thinking. Can I mention one more movie real quick? It's a French film, like Paris French, called Grégoire Moulin versus Mankind. I think the French title is like Grégoire Moulin contre l'humanité or something like that. And it's about this like sort of loser introvert guy who moves to Paris for a new job. And across the way from him, he sees this woman teaching ballet in like an upper thing. And she's just gorgeous. And like he has all these fantasies about like dancing with her on the moon and stuff. It's so fucking beautiful and funny. It's quite slapstick as well. But anyway, it's that day 1, day 2, day 3, he's at this coffee shop and he sees her reading a book.
Yeah.
And every day he's trying to get the courage and like something will happen or interrupt it. And then one day he sees her get up and go to the bathroom and he steals her wallet. And then
he was a thief the whole time.
He wasn't like, he was stealing her wallet. So then later he could be like, hey, I found your wallet.
Yeah.
And then he calls her and she's like, oh my God, I'm just teaching right now. But when I'm done with work, I'll meet you at this bar and you can bring it to me. So the whole movie happens and the entire plot of the movie is basically thwarting his attempt to get there. So it's this big, like, what can go wrong, will go wrong adventure. So you made me think of that. And I think it was just a really sweet movie.
What's it called?
Grégoire Moulin versus Mankind. It's Moulin.
Versus humanity.
Yeah, sorry, humanity. So I like this idea of...
It could even be called, like...
repetition.
The days, right? Like 7 days till Emily or
like
whatever.
Or like the 29 bus or like...
even that. That's
line 1 or something, for the subway. But... yeah, how...
do we want to go meet cute with the butcher shop or the subway? Because they both work. Meet cute could be... we could totally make it interesting.
Because what we haven't done yet, maybe we have, but like we haven't done like a lot of like banter, a lot of like back and forth quick dialogue. So like if we do a sort of rom-com that... it doesn't have to be a butcher shop, doesn't have to be a stupid meat pun for the name, but maybe they meet at a shop and there is a robbery and there's like a sort of thing happening, or there's like an obstacle that they have to overcome together.
And
then there's room for dialogue. There's room for like chat. So it's not just like 2 lines and then we're four weeks ahead and there's 2 lines, or we do the whole thing like a silent movie.
That's what I mean. I know. I don't know. I'm personally leaning towards that. I'm open again.
To
Blue
the
Sky,
silent movie?
Yeah, where it's like, because again, going back to see the Subway pitch or even the meat shop pitch or whatever, it's more like this cuteness of, or this like sweetness of like, they don't really even talk much till like say day 10, and we're doing like, it's a montagey short. I just find that very appropriate short film, because those are the best, where you can kind of really get in and just show emotions. And
Yeah.
because dialogue is great, but I think we do that. I was thinking the opposite. I feel like we do a little back and forth monologue thing, because we did that with like slapstick or action comedy. Just this guy describing the whole film. A lot of narration, for example.
Yeah. Which I wouldn't want to get into. Like I would want to get into
back
the
and forth
like just the like how you meet and how you start a conversation, and like I don't like the word quirky because it's used a lot, but quirky dialogue. You know, like a quirky fucking thing that gets them in there.
Because I'm picturing it like Pixar. Like, have you seen Up?
Yeah.
You know their love story of like
right.
and she until she dies.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm picturing that kind of vibe where it's music and it's like, then they come, and then day 6 she comes into the subway and then he sees her, or the meat shop, and then eye contact, and like there's a progression through them just doing gestures, you know, like for each other, like to show that I'm seeing you and I'm falling for you, and then you know, kind of like the Humanity film, because it's like that sounds like they don't ever talk till like midpoint or something, or
pretty much like they talk on the phone for a bit at the beginning, and then the mission is to get to her. It just keeps getting thwarted,
because to me, like the short would be the intro of that film, like you said, where he sees her every day or whatever, because it's a short, right? So I'm worried about doing the whole cycle of it, where it's, what if we just do like this cute build up to finally like the first
opening montage, basically.
Like the build up of them, like and again, just pitches, but in the end of it, it's like they talk, and that's your ending of the rom-com, where they kind of have a moment with each other, and then you're like a sweet end.
Could it be like a rug pull at the end? Like,
hey,
they're both they just both have the most horrific gravel voices. Anyway, could it be that like they talk and they're not compatible? Like they do spend the whole time kind of like circling the drain on each other and trying to kind of get it going, and then they don't hit it off.
Or she has a man, or he has a girlfriend.
Like or just some way to like not.
I'm open to that, but I do. And again, devil's advocate of it is like we do that a lot in our shorts, which again it could be a thing. Like the ending is always like, oh, I thought one thing, the other, but
you thought wrong.
Yeah, we love that.
Welcome back to the Rug Pull Podcast.
Our production company is called Production. And again, just because, you know, and I always advocate for those two. I love those. Like, let's go dark, let's go weird, or whatever. But
yeah, let's make something cute. Okay, let's make something nice.
Like Robots, the sketch we were working on at an improv class.
Yeah,
like that, where it ends with like a little sweetness, and it's sweet, not.
And for the listeners at home, Robots is a classic Second City sketch starring 2 people whose names I forget, but it's very fun. It's 2 robots on a production line.
Yeah,
one of them from Superstore, who's amazing. It's 2 robots on a production line who sort of gain sentience during the course of the day and fall in love, and ultimately get their memories wiped at the end.
Of each day. They fall in love each day, and their memories get wiped each day. So it's like this sadness of, it's like, even though they don't know each other and their memories are wiped, they can't help but fall in love with each other every day, which there's something so beautiful about that. And then it's like 50 First Dates, but they're both 50 First Dates. Like they're both Drew Barrymore.
Yeah. Or this could also be like, I like the sweetness idea. And like when you said Up, I thought of that opening sequence where like it's them meeting and then aging together and having this lovely life, and you slowly see her deteriorating, and then he does as well alongside of her, because he's losing the love of his life. But maybe you could go through like a lifespan, and they finally talk when they're 60 or something. You know, they could be with other people in their lives and stuff, and like their paths just are constantly almost coming together, and then they land at the end. I think something like that could work.
That's really nice. Yeah, no, I do like that a lot. Because you could even do, I don't know, wherever, like a butcher shop or Subway, wherever you start, you know, they see each other, and maybe we do 3 days on the Subway or the meat shop, and they keep seeing each other, and then one of the days he comes on board and she's sitting with another guy, and then it's a little sad, and then like months go by, and then she comes to a restaurant by herself to pick up food, and then he's sitting there with someone, and they make eye contact, and it's that thing where it's like that one person you keep making eye contact with throughout your life, and kind of are weirdly in the same places. Like I feel like when you live in a condo, that happens a lot. For me, for example, I keep seeing the same person every week or something. So it's like that, but with life, you know, where it's like you keep running into them, and you're on a plane. She's on a plane in like year 7. And it's like the whole story is about 30 years of this or whatever. That'd be kind of interesting. I wasn't going to go that deep. I thought we could just do like a week story. Like in 1 week they fall in love, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah, or like a week, you know, if the whole thing takes place over a week, but that week is broken up over 30 years. You know, it's just like one Monday every dashing into the future. And it's like it's like a 7-day affair, but
that's kind of like Harry Meets Sally, right? But like not exactly, but isn't that what that film is, where it's like Harry and Sally keep running into each other like every few years, like, and they're friends, and isn't that it?
I
haven't seen that.
Have done too much to my brain since I've seen that movie,
but let me. Yeah, so it's like a course of like 11 years.
And for anyone out of the loop, this is the classic Billy Crystal, Meg Ryan movie.
When Harry Met Sally. Sounds like we're about to read it.
And now,
a special presentation.
The hit Billy Crystal movie.
So they meet in 1977, and they're in college. Then they meet in 1982, and on a flight. Then they meet in 1987 at a bookstore. And again, it's not like ours where it's like quick glimpses. They actually like have like good 20 like plot, like 20-30 minutes of that year, and then the final is at a New Year's party, 1988. They meet again, and that's when I think they like finally propose each other's love. And they say like when Harry and Sally met 3 months later, exactly 12 years and 3 months after their first meeting. Like That's that whole love story.
It's interesting how like memory works and how like just riffing ideas works, because like everything's been fucking done, you know.
Yeah.
And I know I'm not saying this to discourage us. It's just amazing that like I must have remembered what that was subconsciously, otherwise I wouldn't say it. Or
what's funny is
in my time
you landed there with other films that have done what Harry and Sally did in a week. So I mentioned Paper Planes by Pixar, right? And I was like, oh, they fall in love and they see each other every day or whatever. And then we talked about Up, and they grew in there. That's even funnier because it's like all these different plots are really the same plot. Where Up, where you see them, they meet, then they fall in love, and over years you see this love story, and then she dies, which has been done over and over. But they did it so different and so special, right? So like we said in the last or a couple episodes, that David Lynch thing where it's like everything's been. You do your impressions.
Well, when it comes to ideas, everything has been done, but it's not been done by you. Maybe it was done by a short man with a cocked eye and a weird growth on his neck, but not by you.
Unless you're that short man.
To go catch the big fish.
Pretty good.
It's just how to make what we're doing a little more heightened, so it's like a little more funny. Like I want to make something sweet. I think ultimately, like, it's like it'd be a lovely feeling to walk out of the script with like that was nice, but like the silent thing or just the repetition thing, like we'd really have to figure out what the details are to kind of build character through action and behavior. Yeah. I did have this vision weirdly while you were talking that like if it is this span of over a couple years or a lifetime or whatever, and then when they meet, it's like maybe there's like a comet coming to Earth or something, or I'd had a nuclear explosion kind of in my head, but like, so they're witnessing this catastrophic event that's ultimately going to destroy the world and everything, but they find themselves both single in that moment. And as the bomb fucking blast is coming towards them, they just like hold each other's hand and it's over, you know, like something like really fucking, I guess we're going dark and everything.
No, dude, I love that. No, that's so sweet too, though. That is dark, but like, I love that because I would never expect that, where the film starts with like, I mean, this is what I'm guessing you're saying. It still starts with that whole idea of they meet, like they see, cliches. They run into each other every couple years or every couple months or whatever. And it's like a span of like, either we could do like 10 years or 50 years, you know, and they literally grew old with different partners and they went through divorces and all these things. And then finally on the day where the comet, and again, we maybe only give information or dialogue through like other people talking. So it's like a waiter talking or like the news talking and all this. And even the news is the one that signals like a comet is coming next week, Monday.
Hold on to your loved ones, because you will all be annihilated next week.
Yeah, and for everyone single, meet up at the park and to watch the comet together. And then they end up at the same park together. And
there are plenty of orgies happening across Toronto this year.
And that's the thing where they kind of meet at this place where everyone's coming to just watch this comet
and they
hit.
notice each other for the last time.
And then they walk and then they talk to each other, being like, oh, maybe they don't even talk.
I don't even think they talk.
Yeah,
like they just see each other and they come up, and then it's just like that close up of them holding their hands, and then the fucking bomb or the comet hits.
Oh, dude, that's great.
Pretty, right?
That's really beautiful,
Nice.
especially because. So what is it?
Oh shit, dude, that's the plot to When Harry Met Doomsday. Fuck. Damn it! Everything's been done.
Yeah, imagine. You know what the film title should be? When Harry Met Sally and they met the Doomsday, and they met the comet. I like that, but you know what's really important for that to be told is I think that opening page of them first time seeing each other, again, Subway or meat shop or wherever the fuck, the right there you can tell right away that they've fallen in love at first sight kind of thing. And then as the story progresses, because then from then on, it's like they're running into each other while they're with someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're showing that first page of the first moment they see each other was that window they had to get together. Because they both fell in love, or they both kind of felt for each other. And then, since they never acted on it, their lives went separately. They met different people. They got married, kept running into each other. And every time they'd run into each other, there's eye contact and a smile and a wave and whatever. And you can just feel the tenderness. And maybe that's where the details, like you said, come in to make it a bit more different too, is like maybe some humor where you can see the waiter kind of waiting on our main guy character and his girlfriend or wife or whoever's like just... so high maintenance, for example, just an example, and then vice versa, where our lovely leading ladies like with her man, and he's
exactly the same as the other, or there could be different qualities to him, but maybe they're both dating the same
off-putting in
kind
different
of wrong
ways.
person,
wrong people, and maybe it's like we don't go too aggressive, or we do because it's a short, but either we go aggressive and they're completely off-putting, or it's like small things like. Like they hate they don't like the same kind of music, the people they're with, or they don't like the same kind of movies or whatever. So it's like this little thing of like they're both with the wrong people every time,
or they're distant, or like there's a sun. She's watching a sunset with her husband, and he's just like
on his phone.
Like
maybe
he's on his phone. Yeah.
He's making deals.
What would be funny.
You know what's and we gotta one thing they should both have is like something in common. So maybe both of them like not PDA, but they like affection. So like he reaches across for the woman he's with right now, like the wrong woman he's with right now, and she doesn't like she kind of pushes her hand away. And then vice versa, when the leading lady is watching a sunset with her wrong partner, they're watching the sunset and she kind of like nestles into his neck or like on his like shoulder, and he kind of just takes a call and like moves away really abruptly. So it's like not that, but there's something they both want out of a partner that and it's kind of obvious that they're with wrong people.
Yeah. I thought of a funny meet cute moment, like the opening scene where they could meet for the first time. And like what you kind of made me think of when you're talking about the sort of disparate desires between the actual partners and our main characters is like doing bits. Like one thing that's among amazing things of my current relationship is that like Katie doesn't get annoyed when I do bits because I fucking do bits all the time. Like I will just make a bit out of anything. Like I have an improviser brain. It's just like if I'm idle, I'm going to try and turn any bit of conversation into a bit. And you can imagine being with a partner who doesn't like that sort of thing. Yeah. It's just constantly being like, that's dumb. Shut up. Like Katie kisses her teeth quite a bit at my bits. But it's not in a like fucking shut up way. It's just like okay, buddy. Like yeah, you done? It's like it's more loving and sort of endearing than, for example, someone who wouldn't want to be a part of that bit. So, what if this guy is just walking down the street? He walks by a building. I think we should ditch the butcher thing because I was just trying to make a fucking meat pun, like the bit guy I am. So we don't. The butcher shop has no bearing.
I'm just glad you murdered it. I didn't want to murder it. So
yeah. I won't die on that that murder store.
Weapon.
So he's walking by a building and he sees like the sun's hitting the glass in a particular way. So he sees his reflection and his hair is a little messed up. And he goes to like comb his hair, but this woman's on the other side and she like mirrors his action as if she's him doing his hair, and he fixes his mustache and like she puts some hair over her lip to like make a mustache and does a thing, and he like does this, and she they just end up in a like a mirrored improv scene, say, for lack of better ways to put it. And it's just this really cute thing, and then he just goes on his way and she goes on her way or whatever. And then there's another instance where they meet up and it's like fun little bits that they end up doing together. organically.
So,
you know, doesn't have to be that, but like
yeah.
just something like these cute, unexpected moments that tell us who they are, because also, you know, with this sort of montagey, you know, opening title sequence kind of montage thing that we're doing, we still want to get across their character. We
have to
still
get
want to
their
understand
personality
why
out right
why
away.
we care about them. Yeah.
I first of all love that. That's great. I had a different idea, so maybe that could be the second time they meet. Or honestly, I think yours is strong enough that that's when they meet, and then they kind of laugh, and then they kind of look for a moment, and then like maybe she's like,
and then the partner comes.
well, I was gonna say maybe no partner yet. Personally,
Okay.
I think the first time they meet, I think it's an just for the sake of like this moral or whatever, is like they had this moment where they were single, and you know sometimes like you're single and someone else is single, and you kind of miss that moment, and then now I'm like you're dating someone and then they're dating someone, and then it's like, oh, like I don't know if you've ever had that, but I feel like that happens in real life where you kind of miss a moment.
Yeah, exactly.
And you go different ways, and then that's the whole beauty of the story, where they had a moment, a window, and they missed the timing, and then the next stop that they could meet up, like their trains met up at, or their kind of life met up at, was at 6 years later.
Yeah.
Which is sad but sweet, because they still got to be with each other at the end before they died or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I think they should be single, and the partner isn't introduced yet, personally.
Okay. Yeah. No, for sure.
Also, I was gonna say maybe they smile at each other, and I don't know why I picture that the window, there's a building, and when he's looking at is a gym or something. So she's like doing it, and then someone calls her, like a friend for spotting, or a friend just to call her over, and she kind of walks away. I don't know why I picture gym that she's inside. But either way, that happens, and then she gets called, so she leaves, and then he stays standing there for a moment, being like, huh. Like you kind of feel like he's kind of just falling, because she made him laugh, and she was kind of so quirky, and she enjoyed doing it with him, so she kind of has to leave, but he just stays there like, huh. You know, like, wow, what was that? Like he felt something, right?
Yeah.
And what I also like is whatever they mimic can be a callback throughout. So when he goes to the restaurant and he sees her, she takes her hair and puts it over her lips, and he laughs like hard, and the woman he's with is like, the fuck, and he just kind of makes like ignores, and
He just plays it off.
yeah, and
like,
he walks away, and she's like giggling now because she made him laugh. So it's like now they always have this joke of her maybe putting her hair over her lip to mimic his mustache, or even like a weird thing he does, like with his hair that day when he did the reflection in the beginning. So it becomes like a totem that every time they meet, she just makes that joke, or he makes that joke, you know, and that's how they kind of know, like, I still remember you from that first time.
Yeah.
It's like a little thing of like, I still know who you are, instead of just eye contact, you know?
Yeah.
So I love that. I had an idea, and tell me, maybe we don't need this anymore. Maybe that's it. That's the first time they meet, and then from then on, it's whenever they meet is with the spouses or partners.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say is if they end up like it's a CD store, like a record store.
Yeah.
Right. And she's looking at stuff, and some guy's helping her. And it's like, I haven't thought it fleshed it out yet, but it's like, I like this idea of him kind of listening to her get advice from this guy. Like, you don't need this album. This is an old one. You need this. And
you
he's
got
like,
the John Cusack character just being like, yeah, if you want to be a fucking idiot, you're going to watch blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
And then you see the guy say all that and walk away, and then it clears way, and our main leading guy is like looking at her, and just like, he like puts up an album, and he's like, you should go for this, like kind of just nudges her, and then maybe he works there or whatever, or something happens where again they have to leave.
And then she's at her house and she's spinning that record, and her husband's like, what's this crap or whatever, you know? Like,
oh, so you're saying, oh, that's good, because I was like, maybe this is one of the intro scenes, but no, maybe this is like, are you saying that when they meet at the record store, the idea I was saying is that
could be
the beginning, or is that a third time they meet?
I must have blacked out for the part you said that would be later.
No, I said earlier.
At the beginning. Excuse me, at the beginning. I think that could be a later thing.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Because like I think that first one should be so jarringly cute.
I'm not saying this should be the first one, but what I'm curious about is the first one. I think is the reflection. Like I fucking love that. That's great. It's because there's a bit too in that, and I love that. You're right. That's when I feel like I don't know what it is. Maybe because we're similar in that sense. Like humor to me is huge. Like I'll fall in love because of humor sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Or someone who just understands. You know,
someone who gets like what funny is.
Someone like, gets me. I want them to get my kind of comedy.
You like are just fucking really up on the LOLs. Like you just know. LOLOVE.
That's why I like that. That's why I personally like that.
Yeah.
Like that opening shit. But then so I was like, do we need one more of them single meeting and doing a cutesy thing so we can build up? Or it's the reflection and then maybe the title card. Like he just stands there looking at his reflection now, and he looks at himself being like, oh, you're in trouble, buddy. You know, and you're like, oh, I'm in love. Or I'm like, I feel something. And then we go to title card.
Yeah.
And then we cut back, and it's like a year later, 1 year later, it says. So, oops, sorry. 1 year later. And it's like a restaurant or not the record store yet, but maybe something where they were the partner or whatever, and there were different partners.
Yeah.
And the way you write that in the script is like, you kind of describe it almost misleading for a moment. So you think they're together and it's like a different person.
Yeah.
You could do that.
Yeah. I think a cool way to intro the couple thing though, like her having a spouse or him having a spouse there could be initial reflection and then another potential scene where some catastrophe happened, not catastrophe, but some impediment occurs to not let them get together. And then the third one could be a record store where he recommends this record and then she goes home and reveals to the audience that she's got a boyfriend, or does he like recommend it to her at the store and then she goes to like show it to her boyfriend and he's like, nah.
So I again, that was another great option or a scene is like, it just cuts to the record player. And as you kind of see it spinning and you're like, you notice it's the one from the record store, you pull away and it's her listening to it. And her husband's like, what are you listening to over there? Or whatever, says something. And you kind of just know. But I don't think that's when you reveal the husband. I think that's just a good scene.
Yeah.
I think it's reflection. So opening meet cute. They meet each other. Like he's walking past a building. He sees something wrong with his hair, fixes it. And he notices someone else mimicking him. So he laughs and then he kind of adds on to it. And then does something else, and he does like a tie or whatever he's wearing on purpose because she's not wearing it, so she has to kind of fake a tie or whatever. So they have this cute moment back and forth, right? She's called away by her friend at wherever building she's in, at the mall or at a gym or wherever. She goes away, and he's just left there standing looking at his own reflection. Title card. Then I think we should cut to a scene a year later where they're both in the same place, a restaurant, a clothing store, wherever, where he's with his loved one or his current girlfriend and she's with her current boyfriend. And they make eye contact and she does the mustache thing or whatever, kind of a callback to their first meeting. And when she does that callback, they laugh. Then they will go back to their partners. Cut to 3 years later. It's a record store. He recommends the record.
Seeds of doubt start to get sowed within their, like we see her personal life and she's clearly not
yet.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, which part is this? Sorry.
The record store part, like when she puts the record on. Oh no, sorry. Okay, yeah, we're gonna go to the record store first and then go.
He's
to
at
the
home.
house.
Then
yes,
she's
yes,
at home.
yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Record
okay.
store. She gets yelled at by the fucking clerk there. He walks away and then you just see our main character being like, "You should take this," and then she laughs. Cut to home, listening to the record, and her husband's nearby.
I like that.
That's where I am so far. And then maybe 10 years. No, so we keep increasing it, right? Like,
so 3 years, 7 years.
Well, my question to you is this. Do you think they should be in their 60s when the comet hits?
I think they should be like old. Yeah, for sure.
That's pretty cool.
But they're still both beautiful because
Yeah.
they have their inner youth that they once connected on is still there despite all the other shit from their life disappearing.
What age did they meet? The reflection. What age is the reflection?
I would say
mid-20s, early 20s?
Mid to late 20s, you know. I
27.
Don't know why. Whoa, dude. That's
Were you going to say
27?
27?
Oh, man.
That's like the clap.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking about the STI, right? Okay.
No, I'm going to fuck that. I'm going to clarify. Before we begin, we always do an in-sync clap for audio. That's the clap I was talking about.
Oh, right. Yeah. We do that so we can sync up the video footage that you may or may not ever see. So, okay, we're at the record store. He suggests a record after getting berated by the clerk.
She gets berated by the clerk.
She gets berated, and then she goes home to spin the record. The husband is nearby. He doesn't like it. There's some sort of seed of doubt planted there. And then we needed another version of that for him. Maybe we like cut to his house and
Can we really quick do? I just want to. I don't know why this helps, but just age real quick. 27.
Okay,
reflection.
Yeah. Okay, 27, and then 1 year later, 28
is the restaurant. Maybe. Yeah.
Yep.
Then 31 record store.
Okay. And then let's go like
36 or 40.
Let's go 40.
So on his 40th birthday, maybe even
40 birthday.
40 birthday. His 40th birthday.
Okay. And then there's something like,
what if she throws him a surprise party at a place that he does not like?
Or like he just isn't celebrated. Like it's his 40th birthday. And
is that too? Yeah, no, okay, fair enough.
And it's just like She's just like, here's a I mean, I think what you're saying.
But my thing is like that just shows it more aggressively. Like she picks a place that he's like, I don't fucking like baseball. We're batting cages. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's very like she doesn't know him or Or is it we show his humor that he does something funny for his own birthday or whatever, or like surprises her for her 40th birthday, his partner, and she just doesn't fuck with it because it's like a fun theme thing.
I think that's the move. He's planning a birthday party
and it's fun and it's go-karts. Not I mean that's weird, but it's something like more like like youthful, and she's just very like bland and like she wants to be mature about this. She's like, wait, what? Like he gets a cake with like someone in it, he's like and then she's like, what? And then maybe he does it at like a party, like how you can do a party room in like a restaurant, and she's at that restaurant at the same time, like the leading lady. Like, do we do that maybe or no?
I think like
we don't show them.
Yeah, I don't think we need to keep.
I think it's important.
Yeah. Because I think or showing something different, but not at the same. Oh yeah, they should be kind of meeting at the same place.
Because my thing is, I think what's really important. Oh, I got. So I'm gonna say two thoughts at one. One is I think it's important that we always only see. Why the fuck are we seeing the 40th year? It's only because it's always whenever they've crossed paths. Right. We're watching them every time they cross paths and how it reflects them. So what if the 40th birthday? So if we don't say that, we say 7 years later or 9 years later, right? And he's at a store picking out the gift or picking out the thing, and again he catches her eye or something like that, or he's on his way home. Maybe we don't do a store again, something different where he's like in an elevator or something.
And maybe this could be like the first real conversation. Like he could be coming home with like a stack of presents.
You've sold me on they never talk. Like even in the end is the only time when they hold hands. I don't know. That's what I think.
Yeah. Sure.
So I was even thinking they're in a busy elevator. When it's like too busy where you're like not even next to the person. So he's in an elevator with like all these gifts, and then she kind of comes in and there's people around them and they kind of make eye contact and he goes like this or whatever, and she kind of like laughs or.
And then maybe like there's a very fleeting moment there. It's like barely recognition, right? Like he's pretty sure she didn't notice him. They do make eye contact, but like, oh, it's been 10 years or whatever. And then he leaves the elevator. He's got all these presents or whatever. And just for the sake of it, he glances back over her shoulder and she's got the fucking mustache.
Yes,
thing. You know what I mean?
I was hoping you'd go there.
Are like closing. Yeah.
And then he laughs and then literally cuts to, yay, like like she's blowing the candle out his current partner. Like it's the party. Like literally 3 hours later after the elevator, we cut to that, and she opens his gift and she doesn't like it, or she opens a surprise or whatever and she doesn't like it. You know what I mean?
Maybe she like dumps him on his birthday or on her birthday or something. You know what I mean? Like he gets home with all this shit. She's just like, I want to break up.
Do we want to do I don't mind the cliche because it's like it speeds it across. But what if he comes home with the surprise? Like we just cut to him coming in, getting ready, and then he goes into the room and she's with like someone else. So that's why his 40s he's staying single because he just got cheated on.
That would be that would be a believable reason to continue to be single to your
50s,
and then maybe like.
He's dating someone in his 50s, but like tries and then
date someone younger or something. It doesn't really work, or like we just start seeing him alone, and not he's out there and he doesn't see mustache woman,
I only think we should see
the
windows of. I just think that makes sense for the short.
Yeah, sure.
But what I like is this other idea you said, where it's like maybe in one of the years he's dating someone younger, and it's such a 53-year-old single guy. He's trying. But again, now he's in a different part of his life and they don't vibe. And then he still runs into the other woman and she's maybe, I don't know, with the same guy.
Or she's single at that moment. So his window, like she's not with a guy or maybe she is. Yeah, she's with a guy and
he's not.
She looks happy or something, There's something in there. We can fuss with that when we get into the thing. And then it's.
Comet.
But I think also. We need to do some kind of thing throughout from the beginning. I don't know what it is yet. To sort of plant the seeds of the environment or like just the state of the world and those moments. You know what I mean? Like so it's just not like all of a sudden there's a fucking comet coming. Like there should be like, is there a weather report in every
Well, I was gonna say personally, I thought you could go without it. It's just you just show at the end, but that's a good idea. Where literally it could even be like flyers in the backdrop. Like when he first meets her, behind him is like a little flyer of like I don't know, people talking about the environment, right?
Or one of those guys. It's always like,
Yeah,
the
giving
end
flyers.
is nigh.
Yeah.
The end is nigh.
Yeah.
And then we just see that person
once in a while,
age too,
and then one of them, like say like year 50 when he's 50 or whatever, there's like literally a news report going on in the background of them. You know what I mean? It's always like, that's a really good idea. Like it's like literally peppered in the background.
Mm-hmm. And then yeah.
You know what I also just realized? We don't have to, and this makes it even more realistic to me. It's up to you if you want to go cliche or not. Maybe his love story is that, you know, he was with this woman who's not that fun, and then like his second, like this, he meets our leading lady. They don't ever, they have their reflection moment, then they go on separate journeys. Why not? She does have a happy love life.
And he dies or something, yeah.
And that guy dies. So like even when he in his 50s, when he's with his young girl, this archive,
he could see her in the funeral procession or some shit, you know, like, or like, you know, she's in the back of a, you know, when the funeral cars all drive together and they do a little parade to the burial. Like he could see her in one of those, like grieving, you know. He could see her very happy in one other context, and then because I like that, because like why do we all have to be in unhappy relationships? And then he sees her grieving or something, or it's implied that she's dead, and then there's no funny moment in that. There's no like fucking mustache thing.
Maybe
obviously.
he just mouths "I'm sorry" or just kind of like a gesture. So it's like he's like, I still care about you in a way, you know, but without being like, oh, I'm gonna hit on you, whatever. He's just like actually sorry for her. But what I was gonna say is this, okay? So because we do need to give them interesting lives separately, right? So maybe one time he does run into her, and she's really happy, right? Maybe the restaurant scene, she makes a joke with him, and then she goes back, and her husband are laughing, and he puts like a little frosting on her nose because, you know, her and her current husband are having a funny night or whatever, right? A funny night, a fun night. And then the grieving thing, when he drives past her, and the funeral thing, maybe he's in a convertible because our boy, like, he spent his 40s now, focused on himself, makes money. In the 50s, he's a young girl. He's in a convertible. He's a young girlfriend, and he's happy, but when he sees her, he still has a moment of, fuck. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but it's like, or is he happy? Because like it's the Three Little Bears thing. Like this porridge is too hot. This porridge is too cold. Or I guess it would be too cold and then too hot because the younger person. And then this porridge is just right. And then the world ends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Again, I just don't want to, like you said earlier, I don't want to be like, oh, he's so, like, without her, he's been miserable his 40 years.
No,
like, even in the convertible, he's happy, but you can tell there's a age difference and there's like the mentality difference.
The convertible is so good too if we pair it with the funeral procession, because
he's in a good,
traffic's going to stop and they're going to let the procession go in, and then he sees her and they make eye contact. Like, that's fucking nice.
Yeah.
I'd watch that.
And he's like 54 at that, 55 at that point, and his girlfriend at the current time is like 30.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then, that's the sorry, whatever. And then cut to him having whiskey and the comets coming, and he's watching the news. And his girlfriend, while he's watching the news, is like storming out. Like, fuck this. I don't want any more of this. And she leaves him. And we have him just sipping whiskey, watching it.
Like, he could just be sipping whiskey by himself in sort of a medium. And then you pull out wide to this vacuous
loft or
like
house
messy loft. And like the news broadcast could be like, you know, for the last 6 weeks, people have been fleeing the cities and blah, blah, blah. And like, it's just kind of squalor and there's no one around, and you get it. Yeah. You know? Maybe.
And then, and they just sip in watching, and then he says, and the guy gives an announcement like, you know, we're all going to come out. I don't know if you need that, but something kind of announcement where like everyone's meeting at High Park.
Yeah.
to watch the comet hit Earth. And then cut to like the park, and you see him walk,
and
he's
see like the comet, and it's like crazy. And then it's like coming up, and then they see each other, or maybe it hits, and you see that like silent, like the delayed auditory.
Wait, this is before they've seen each other though.
They've seen each other.
They see each other. They walk over. No dialogue. Smile. Hands touch.
Not yet. So they kind of get close to each other, and they just kind of nod, and they watch it, and the comet's like hits, and you see the flash, and then you see the impact thing. There's no sound yet, you know, because like the shockwave's got to make its way over to them, and then you just see the blast coming. And then you cut to the close-up of the hands, and they grab
the blast
hands,
is in the background.
and then you see the blast coming up, and then it's just like cut to black, you know? Like, it just consumes them, you know?
Yeah. You know what that reminds me of? Is like Don't Look Up. You seen that film?
Yeah.
I didn't like it. I love it. That's a great ending. I also don't mind the final image being the comet and their hands, and the comet's in the sky. Because the blast, I'm worried, is like, it's like very...
It's going to be really expensive to do.
I don't know if we can afford that. Not that. I'm the fucking studio head right here. I don't think we needed a blast.
It's going to take a lot of words, man. We don't have that many words at our disposal.
No, I was going to say more because the there's something more poetic about the comet and their hands, and the blast is a bit more. Again, not against. I'm not saying we have to do the comet, but
or
the blast
they,
is just
they hold
more
the hands and then
aggressive.
you see the blast or something. Yeah, like I don't know.
I'm worried that the blast is too aggressive and kind of takes away from the sweetness, because it's like they're about to die now, as opposed to the comet in the sky. There's this moment of cuteness and like, this is the end together, baby.
Let's see what it feels.
Yeah,
like
we
when
always
get
stumble
there.
upon the end.
All right, we've been talking.
Let's
for
recap. Let's recap though, real quick. The film starts with our main character, our main leading man, and he's walking on a street, and he catches his reflection on a window. He's like, oh, my hair's a little kind of fucked up. Fixes it, fixes the parting or whatever. And as he's doing that, a person, our leading lady on the other side of the reflection, starts like mimicking him. And he notices and he kind of smiles and he kind of gives her more things to mimic almost. He then goes like, checks his nose to see his nose hair. She does it for a little bit. And then he goes for his mustache. So she takes her hair and puts it over her lips to fix her mustache. And they keep going one-upping each other maybe a little bit. She does something that he mimics. And they one-up each other until like her friend on the other side of the window calls her or whatever. And she has to go. So she kind of smiles, laughs, and walks away. And our guy is just left standing there, like looking at his reflection and being like, oh, like Joseph Gordon-Levitt in 500 Days of Summer when she kind of says, oh, are you listening to the Styx or whatever? And she walks out of the elevator and he's like, oh, shit. Like he knows I just got hit by Cupid. Mm-hmm. So our guy has that face of like, oh, Cupid's arrow's in my back right now. And he's like looking at his own reflection. And then we cut to title card. Title card happens. We cut back from title card to the film again, and it's 1 year later. And potentially,
quick interjection.
Jono has an interjection, yes.
The comet should be called Cupid. Like they should call the comet Cupid.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, all right. Sorry.
That's pretty funny. So then 1 year later, they're at a restaurant potentially, and our leading man walks in, and he has a girl at his arm, and he kind of is waiting for his table, and he looks over and he makes eye contact with our leading lady, who's with her like fiance or boyfriend at the time, and they look over, they make eye contact, and
some reference to their first meeting.
And she makes some reference. Right now we're saying that
it doesn't
have
to be the mustache thing, because I think we should say that for the elevator, but
I think it should be the same thing over and over again.
Same thing? Yeah. Or she does the top hair.
And
the mustache
so
on
she
the other.
changes
there's always some gesture
for the first
repeated
meeting?
gesture. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, she does like a fixture of her hair to kind of a callback to their first meeting with the reflection. He laughs. And his like girlfriend looks at him strangely, like, "Why are you laughing so out loud in public randomly?" And he's like, "Oh, nothing," or whatever. And they just walk to their table, and that's their chance meeting. And then we cut to the girl at her, like the leading lady at her table, and she's having a good time. So we show that she's still with someone that makes her laugh. It was just still there's something still left with this other man from before. Then 3 years later, we're at a record store. Our leading lady's like getting berated by like a worker there, an employee there, who's like, you want to buy this CD? What are you,
fucking Luddite.
Fucking Luddite. And then as he says that, she's like just shocked with how much this guy's like berating her, and he walks away. And as he walks away and clears frame, right behind him, like maybe 10 feet away or 15 feet away, is our leading man for the film. And he's like looking at her, just kind of laughing. And she's like sees him, and her moment of like feeling kind of like shitty and shocked, turns into laughter.
And he's like, it's actually quite a good record, and she buys it.
Well, he doesn't say that, but he kind of just lifts the album cover in front of his face and like mimics it talking, like just like a nod to her, and she laughs. Cut to that album is playing
on the thing, and her husband are dancing to it.
Oh. Well, okay, how about we...
That's good.
Yeah, okay, that's really good, actually. That's kind of weird, though, a little bit. Do they need to be dancing to it?
Well, not like this, I think maybe...
No, like slow dancing, you're saying. But it's like, he gave her the song to dance with her husband.
But he doesn't know that. But she gets home, she gets enjoyment out of it, and then it bolsters her relationship with her husband as not shit. You know?
I was 100%. So I was going to say this. Instead of just cutting to dancing, I feel that it's a bit kind of abrupt, where it's like, here's this song, and then she goes and dances with another guy. It's more like, this is what I picture as like, he recommends a song to her, or the album. Cut to, it's playing on the vinyl, right? And then it pans up, and she's listening to it, and her husband's like, what is this? And as she does that, she kind of then goes to him just to kind of answer his question without answering it. She just starts dancing with him.
Yeah, and then like just kind of like...
Yeah, and then they dance, and you can see he's like... So it's like just a bit more buildup of like, it's not like she just went home and danced with her husband. It's like she was just enjoying it. Her husband walked in.
I pictured the record spinning with the logo and the whatever, But
totally. Again, he says like, what kind of music is this? Like he almost doesn't like it a little bit. So you do see there's a little difference. But then she goes and dances with him, and he starts liking it because it's like, oh, like we're dancing to this. Mm-hmm. So it's like a bit of like they're different, but there's still love in this relationship. Okay. Then cut to like I think 7 years later, it's the 48th. They're both 40 now. He's in an elevator. with like a bunch of gifts. Is he in the elevator or is she in the elevator already? Who's in the elevator already?
He's in the elevator already.
Yeah, so he has a bunch of gifts, and the elevator opens, and there's people. He's surrounded with people, and she walks in. Our leading lady walks in. So this is their third or fourth encounter, basically. They're at the 40 now, and she walks in and quickly walks and goes into the corner of the elevator, and he kind of notices her, and he's like, shit, she didn't see me, right? He's almost like kind of like let down. He's like she walked in so quick to the elevator. There's so many people in here that he noticed her, but she didn't notice him. So he's like, bummer. So he's kind of like just standing there, and then the elevator dings again. He's like, all right, whatever. He walks out because it's like, who cares? She didn't notice me. It's been like 13 years or so since we first met. He walks out, and as he turns around before he goes into his apartment or whatever, he sees the elevator closing, and she's doing the hair over the mustache
thing,
lip.
yeah.
And he kind of just starts laughing because he's like, oh, she did remember me, and she did notice me. And it's kind of a cute moment. He has this like giddy look on his face, walks into his apartment, puts down his like the gifts, and it's like on the gift you can see like happy birthday my love, so it's like for his wife or whatever. That he kind of walks in, and as he's walking you see the wedding pictures of him and his wife on the wall. He walks in, he goes into the room, opens it, and she's getting just railed. No.
Jesus. Hugh Grant and Billy Crystal are in there.
Both taking turns. Oh, that's fucked up. That's so funny. So she walks in, and there's a man in his bed. Like, we'll figure out a funny way to show that, or maybe she's by herself naked, and then he's like, "Oh, sexy time," and then a guy walks
comes
out
into
of
the bathroom,
which is so cliche, but it's so obvious, but it works. So he sees that, and then there's a moment of like, and we could even make the woman character like either sorry or almost the opposite, being like, "What?" Right. And then cut to, it's now 10 years later or 12 years later, and our guy now, we kind of have this really cool, all of a sudden it's like a very cool shot of like a car driving, and it's like a drone shot of it. It's like a nice convertible, and we cut into the car. It's been 12 years, so our guy's like 52 now, and he's driving, Silver Fox kind of vibes, like George Clooney or like whatever. He's driving, and he's like happy, music's playing, and he has like a younger girlfriend or wife on his arm, like it's like a 30-year-old woman, and he's driving, and they're like, you know, like laughing, and it's just montage cuts of them through the street, and then they have to stop because of traffic, because there's a funeral procession.
It's not a hard C, it's a soft C.
There's a funeral procession. There's a funeral drum playing. There's a funeral
percussion is happening.
There's a funeral procession happening, and they're driving past the convertible, and he's kind of just waiting, like a little impatiently, and then he notices like in one of the cars is the leading lady that he's been seeing every year or 5 years or 10 years. And they look at each other, and there's this recognition still, even though it's been like 25 years since they first met. This has been 25 years since they first met in that reflection of the building. And he notices her, she notices him, and they look, he understands it's for her husband. You can just feel it. And he looks at her and he just mouths the word maybe "I'm sorry," or just gives her a nod.
We just see that, with their expressions.
Just expression, and she kind of,
there's a psychic thing happening.
Exactly, but maybe from her, maybe then a little bit of like, I understand, but like with a nod, she goes like this, and you understand that they understand each other. She drives away. Our guy starts driving again, and you just see a look of like a bit more of like somberness on his face. Cut to now, it's 8 years later again. He's 60 now, so is our leading lady. They're both 60 now, but we cut to now 8 years later. He's sitting watching TV as the news talks about a comet hitting Earth, and he's sipping whiskey, and we kind of zoom out of this shot of him watching TV and we see this big house. It's messy, but it's lonely. It's like he's isolated in this big house. He's watching TV. The guy says we have about scientists estimate that by 9 p.m. tonight the comet will hit Earth, and that'll be the end, or within 30 minutes everyone will be wiped out, or whatever he says. If anyone interested, there will be a meeting at High Park or whichever park or wherever to go see the comet and spend
there's a communal death rally occurring at High Park if you want to die with a ton of strangers.
Yeah. And then he goes to, and then we just see him finish the whole glass, and then cut to, it's like sun setting. It's High Park. He walks in, and there's people walking around, like, or like standing around, just like.
Yeah, it's like 9 p.m., right? Like northern.
Yeah, because of the comet too.
It's like the ambient lights up because it's kicking off the sun.
It's like 8:30 or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, and he
maybe it's 8:34.
8:35.
Okay, fine.
Okay, done. So he walks into the park. There's like hundreds of people standing around, but there's still space to walk through them and get to his spot. And as he's walking, he notices someone else walking in the crowd, and it's her. and they both look, and they keep walking. It's like they, as soon as their eyes lock.
Oh yeah, and it's like the crowd's kind of, it's almost like jump cuts, like she disappears and kind of comes back, and like it's fleeting. They're almost not gonna meet, but they
keep beelining it though. They don't stop. They keep like losing each other in the crowd, but they keep walking and keep walking.
And then maybe he loses her, and then he gets a tap on his shoulder, and she's right there,
and she slaps him.
She.
Yeah, then they make eye contact. Yeah, he loses her for a bit. Then the tap. He turns and she's right there. She smiles. She walks up next to him. They both like look at and then all you hear is the card go, whoa. So they both break eye contact, look up at the sky, and the comet's getting closer. And then you maybe cut to someone's clock or whatever, or watch, and it's like 8:42 or 8:30, whatever it is. And then they kind of just look at it, and as it gets closer and closer and closer, you see them hold hands, look at the comet, and then cut to black. Or
we see the flash as they hold hands, whatever.
Yeah,
we'll figure out. We'll figure out
just
just
hits
how.
Earth, flash happens, it's like a flashbang, and then it's like their hands holding, and then
it's it.
Yeah.
All right, let's write it.
What's the title of this film?
I think we should. All the while too. During each section, we're going to find a way to pepper in the sort of foreshadowing of the comet. So like weather reports, or like scientists discovered a new comet called Cupid. And we could call it Cupid or whatever we name the comet, or call it like meteor or comet. I
like Cupid a lot because it makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know if we call it Cupid's Comet, the film, though.
No. I think keep the comet thing out. But we'll
come up with a title as we write it.
Yeah, and then we'll fill you in.
Yeah.
Right now. And now, Marvin and Lilly. Exterior Bay Street day. Our young, likable male lead, Marvin, 27, rushes down a street. His outfit suggests he's heading to work. He catches his reflection in a window and stops. Marvin frowns as he notices the mess that is his hair. He leans into the window and attempts to fix his side part. Interior bookstore, continuous. On the other side of the glass, Lilly, 27, our young, likable female lead, watches Marvin with a smirk. She instinctively mimics his movements. Exterior bookstore, continuous. Marvin continues to fix his hair, oblivious to his obvious soulmate. Suddenly, she catches his eye. Blushing, he stands up straight. Lilly does the same. Marvin lowers his hands, letting his guard down. Lilly mimics this as well. Catching onto the bit, Marvin adjusts his tie. Lilly adjusts her invisible tie. Marvin leans in closer and makes a meal of fixing his mustache. Lilly improvises and doubles down by holding her shoulder-length hair in between her lips and nose to create a fake mustache. They both break into laughs at the same time and share a warm but brief moment. Interior bookstore, continuous. Lilly's friend, 20s, calls for her off-screen.
Hey, Lilly!
Lilly throws Marvin a quick wave and takes her leave with a bow. Marvin lingers for a beat, staring at his own reflection in awe of what just happened, his hair blowing in the wind. Title card, Marvin and Lilly. Cut to interior restaurant, day, 1 year later. A TV blares a news broadcast featuring telescope imagery of a comet with a beautiful red tail. Its unearthly surface is made of jagged rock, vaguely shaped like a heart.
Big news in space today. Scientists at NASA have discovered a comet in our solar system. Its red glow and heart-like shape have earned it the nickname Cupid. But don't worry, they say the chances of it colliding with this pale blue dot are highly unlikely.
At the entrance, Marvin, 28, and his girlfriend, 30s, enter and step up to the maitre d', who looks up their reservation. While they wait, Marvin snags a single rose from a nearby bouquet and hands it to his girlfriend, as if it were completely natural. She kisses her teeth and returns the flower to the vase. He chuckles, but she's not having it. Then, he catches someone's eye. It's Lilly, clearly on a date. He looks away for a beat but can't help but steal another glance. Their eyes meet again, and Lilly does a quick adjustment of her invisible tie with a smirk, before going back to her conversation. Martin smiles briefly, until his girlfriend nudges him to follow the maitre d'. Cut 2. Interior vinyl record shop, day, 3 years later. Lilly, 31, rifles through a row of records. She pulls out the high-fidelity soundtrack, and a clerk, male, 30s, berates her almost immediately.
For a a movie that's supposed to champion the little guy, why the fuck is the main character a misogynist piece of shit?
Aw, I keep getting my heart broken. Wah. I'm a straight white guy and I need the affection of every woman in my life. Or wah. I'd say go with this.
He holds up the soundtrack to Eraserhead.
It may not be the record you came in for, but it's the one you need.
He notices another patron picking up a record he doesn't agree with and rushes over with his input. A little defeated, Lilly picks up the high-fidelity record in one hand and ponders between the two vastly different soundtracks. A cough gets her to look up, and she sees Marvin, 31, not too far away. He's heard everything and is smiling at her predicament. He shakes his head and points to the high-fidelity record, giving it a thumbs up. Lilly smiles, and as she begins to speak, Marvin's girlfriend appears and impatiently motions for them to leave. Lilly takes another look at the record. Cut 2, interior, Lilly's apartment, later that day. Close on the high-fidelity soundtrack spinning on a turntable. Oh Sweet Nothing by the Velvet Underground plays. Cut wide to reveal Lilly swaying to the music. A voice off screen.
What's this?
Her husband, 40s, enters and Lilly reaches for his hand. He smilingly accepts and they slow dance. Cut 2. Interior department store elevator, evening. 9 years later. Marvin, 40s, stands against the far back wall, pushed up against it by the other residents, his arms full of birthday gifts. He looks good for his age, but we can tell life hasn't been so kind in the intervening years. Two gentlemen speak in hushed voices, discussing a video on a smartphone.
Why not Armageddon that shit and send a team with nukes up to blow that thing out of the sky?
Makes you miss the Trump era.
Marvin does all he can to not roll his eyes. They arrive on the ground floor, and he steps out. His eyes light up when he passes Lilly, 40, who's stepping inside the same elevator now. Fearing she didn't notice him, he turns around just as the doors are closing. Lilly is looking straight at him, her hair scrunched between her lip and her nose. The elevator doors close. Now alone in the lobby, Marvin daydreams. She remembered. Match cut 2, interior, Marvin's bedroom, later that evening. Marvin stands in his bedroom, still holding the presents, now with a mournful look on his face. Cut to his point of view. His wife in bed, covering herself with the sheets, and a fully naked man standing beside the bed, covering his private parts. Back to Marvin. He nods almost politely and sighs, noting the naked man's underwear hanging on the frame of his wedding portrait by their bedside table as he leaves. Cut to interior convertible day, 13 years later. A much happier and much older Marvin, 53. His mustache has long since turned gray and his hair blows freely in the wind. The top is down on his cherry red, mid to late life crisis convertible. He turns to the passenger in the car, his much younger, new girlfriend, 30s. She's wearing big sunglasses and sipping a White Claw, her wild curly locks blowing in the hot wind. She reaches for his hand and Marvin obliges. Their fingers interlock and they smile warmly at each other. Soon, traffic slows and they creep to a halt. A funeral procession of black SUVs and a hearse creep past. After a somber moment, Marvin can't believe it when he locks eyes with the passenger in the hearse. A mournful Lilly, 53, still radiant despite the obvious death of her husband. Marvin gives a nod, a gesture of paying his condolence, and Lilly smiles warmly, as a way to say thanks. The cars roll by and traffic resumes. Marvin is frozen. Suddenly, the car behind him honks and snaps him out of the daze. He hits the gas. Cut 2. Interior Marvin's apartment, 7 years later. A Bluetooth speaker blares a news broadcast as Marvin, 60, throws back a mouthful of straight whiskey. He barely flinches, his eyes fixed on nothing and everything at the same time.
I want to thank each and every one of you for being so brave over the last few years. News of Cupid's impact with Earth has devastated life as we know it, and it hasn't even entered our atmosphere. Experts believe that the comet will impact at approximately 9:40 p.m. this evening, somewhere near the Atlantic Ocean. It is not lost on me that this will be the final news broadcast, perhaps forever. Now, I, like many of you, am going to take my family to Trillium Park and welcome the end of all things.
Marvin turns the broadcast off and finishes his whiskey. Cut 2. Exterior, Trillium Park, later. Marvin walks slowly through the crowd. The air is surprisingly peaceful. The night sky lit up by the red glow of Cupid, now massive in the sky. Marvin stops to look around, and lo and behold, there she is. Lilly, 60, a mere 50 feet away. She smiles at him, and they instinctively walk toward one another. A fearful voice is heard in the crowd.
It's happening!
The crowd grows tense. People get to their feet and cluster with their families, causing Marvin and Lilly to lose sight of each other. Marvin moves faster. More and more people get in his way as the panic sets in. He spots Lilly just as she's pulled in another direction. Her pleading eyes disappear into the chaos. After a few frantic moments, Marvin gives up and looks at the comet, nearly blotting out the entire sky. The gravel next to his feet begins to rise, pulled by the comet's gravity. Marvin takes a deep breath and accepts his fate. Then, a hand slips into his, interlocking fingers slowly. He looks over and sees Lilly. She found him. They hold each other's gaze and smile as Cupid's light envelops the scene. They turn back to their destroyer. Close up on their hands. A flash of light in the distance. Cut to black. Bin! In conclusion, all right. So Martin and Lilly.
Marvin and Lilly. You fucking fucked up the name again, even in the recap.
Did I say? I hope.
Martin and Lilly.
I know now when I go in to edit that, I'm gonna say Martin over and over again. I think I just started to picture Martin Freeman for some reason. But
Ooh, I love Martin Freeman.
he's nice.
So good.
Okay, so just to cap things off, we wrote really what we think is cool rom-com, mostly silent, kind of montagey thing that follows two people over 33 or so years until the entire world gets destroyed. But right at the very end, they get to touch each other, just be with each other before everything is annihilated.
I wonder if anyone's going to be like, oh, they didn't share a kiss. You know, like we didn't give them a kiss.
That's better, you know?
There's something about that, yeah. It's very romantic.
What if one of them had halitosis?
And that's the last thing that they got
like,
in their life. It's like, and then it ends.
Okay, so what was your favorite thing about the whole thing?
What was my favorite thing? I really just liked that we made it silent. Like what I mean is that's not my favorite thing, but it's my favorite thing that we were creative enough to kind of think of how do we make this a rom-com that we haven't seen, and why not do it over 33 years? Sure, it's like over this vast period of time, and it's like intercuts of their life, right? Like moments of their life, and they really don't have any dialogue. I was gonna say until the end, but no, not even in the end. They don't speak. And I'm hoping that, you know, like the script, and if it ever becomes a film, it's visually and
yeah, you could really milk those moments on camera in like the connective pieces.
But I'm hoping even the script itself, you read like a little short story and you're like, wow, even without dialogue of them speaking, like I can understand their feelings and I can feel the love and not even just the love, but just this hope. And I don't know, it's kind of tender. And as usual, like it leads into what, like the whole thing. And what I usually like about our scripts is the ending was so like
dark.
Yeah, what's your
what
favorite
is
thing?
that? Jeez, the ending.
Yeah.
No,
you know what that is actually? I think that's years of happy endings that we've seen growing up and being like, I want to see something different.
Yeah, exactly. Life ain't like that. World. Life is dark. I liked the big time dashes, I think, like just as a device, because you could kind of propel the story way further and like, you know, you don't have to explain stuff. I don't know if we talked about Party Down in like an aired segment or if it was during our writing.
It was today, yeah.
But it was kind of like that. Like the season is linear, but you're like joining them like 6 months later. Like so much has happened when you're not there, and like it's kind of it's mostly implied, I guess. They're on the nose sometimes when they have to be, but like it's nice. You're just like, okay, cool, we're way ahead here. It doesn't have to be this like incremental increasing thing and like such an immediate thing, because you could have easily done like a quick slow burn, like they meet right before the comet hits and whatever. But it was nice to kind of drag it out. And like I think actually that whole thing being said, because we got to put all this distance between the two of them and the time from their meeting to their connecting, and then we only give them we only give the hand holding. It's the first thing that they do truly together, aside from like interact. It's the first physical connection of them, and it's the last drop of electricity that's going to go through their brains is going to think, finally, yes, and they're going to be at peace right before getting annihilated. Like, I love that. I think that's really romantic.
No, I totally agree. The time jump, like you said, in between the time jumps, you're like, and we kind of hopefully did a good job describing like they've changed in those 9 years or 7 years or whatever. It's like so much happened in their lives, but you don't have to see all of it, and that's kind of nice about it too.
Exactly.
Least favorite thing about this script or process.
Maybe and this is only because I have to pick one. It'd be like not having rom-com banter. Like it would be fun to have little things, but like this didn't. No, I can't say that because I think this is very cute with it. I don't know.
It's very cute without the banter, right? Well, yeah. The funny thing is, usually both of our least favorite thing is, I wish we could have fleshed it out more. This is the first time.
Yeah, I'm kind of
happy with how much limited. This one works with the limits. Where a lot of the scripts were like, oh man, if we had like 3 more pages, I could flesh out that backstory. But this is one of those scripts where I'm like, the limitations of how much they could say dialogue wise, or how much we're showing, works for its advantage almost. Like
For
it makes
sure.
it cuter. It makes it more tender. So
Yeah, we had a little riff session.
we had some good options.
Cut to the riff session.
Cupid's Comet was the name of the title.
Yeah.
The title of the film, possibly.
But like, Cupid sounded too hokey, and Cupid's Comet sounded too like, I don't know.
Hallmarky.
Hallmarky as well. Like, yeah. But anyway, Marvin and Lilly.
There we go. He got it.
Lilly with one L. Okay. When do you want to ask?
Oh
the next
yeah.
question?
So this. When do you? For you, at what point of the process did the script start coming together?
Okay, it's funny.
Like,
'Cause-
by the way, sorry, just to explain, start coming together as in like you're like, oh, we got something on our hands right now.
Yes. Thank you for clarifying. I really felt it. I'm like, okay, we're vibing, and this is we're probably gonna take all these offers. Was when I said the comet was coming, and you kind of like, I saw a little shift, and I'm like, either that shift is fucking like, I don't know, man, I think we're going a little dark, or we're in, and you're like, I fucking love that. I was like, all right, we're doing that. Yeah. So that I feel like that's the moment for me.
That's usually how it works. One of us like will be kind of into it, and then the other person kind of affirms like with the thing, and it's like, okay, we got something.
Yeah.
And yeah, for me it was a comment for sure. Because until then I'm like, this is cute. I like this. Oh, it's like because the pitch was like, what if it's like a time lapse of them knowing each other?
Yeah.
And then it became this comet thing, and I was like, damn, we got something. So yeah, as soon as you mentioned like the end of the world almost, in like the blue sky portion, I'm like, okay, this is something I want to write. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then lastly, if we were to make this film, if we were to direct it, and we had all the resources of whoever we wanted to cast would be down to be in this, who would you cast in this film?
For some reason, because
Okay.
like I feel like we were kind of painting these characters as like hip, I guess, maybe with the things, but maybe they shouldn't be. But for some reason, I've pictured like Jeremy Swift, who's the guy Higgins on Ted Lasso, like the sort of assist, like the
Wow.
that thing.
What the?
Like, that's kind of how I pictured him when he's older. Like that's
Okay, how about this? Actually, this is a different kind of script. Do we show different actors playing Marvin?
Oh yeah, we probably would.
Yeah?
Or I guess you could just like
De-age?
do the DH,
Or get a young actor and put
or-
makeup on?
or re-age,
Or age?
or age up.
Just age.
You could age him up or down. Yeah, I don't know why I thought of that.
That's
guy.
cute. I like him as that older guy, but I just feel even then it's like I don't know. Sorry, you finish your thought.
Yeah, and like I don't know how to say her last name, but like Michelle Awat. Let me look up.
Okay, so if we could make this film tomorrow, and we could actually cast it with whoever we wanted to cast, who would you cast for Marvin and Lilly?
For Marvin, I would cast Jeremy Swift.
The guy.
Higgins from Ted Lasso.
Oh no way!
Okay, I don't know, man. I feel like I'm bricking on this question.
I say you leave it. So take this part out if anything.
Okay.
Leave the whole thing because it's fine. That's very real.
Yeah. Okay.
I thought you were gonna be like Miles Teller. I take mine. You dick. You son of a bitch. So I'm picking. Actually, you know who I really would cast for this? For the guy, I'm gonna find his name real quicker than you. Yep, Nicholas Braun as Marvin. You know Nicholas Braun? He's Succession. He's from.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Is he the tall guy?
Yeah.
Like what's his name?
Cousin Greg or
Yeah,
whatever?
Greg. Yeah.
Maybe you could hire me for okay.
Yes, exactly that.
Yeah.
I find him really like because he's being cute with the rose. I see him being
Yeah,
bumbling
for sure.
and she like
and
and she's
have a
like,
little mustache.
and then seeing him grow up
yeah.
and become an older Nicholas Braun would be kind of cool to see.
taller and taller.
That's age, right? You get taller as you grow older.
Hey, Uncle Logan.
And then for the woman, for Lilly, I gotta find her name real quick too. I know what movie she's in, so I'm gonna do this. Olivia Cook. I like her. I think she brings a lot to this role.
Oh yeah, sure.
And then you age them as you go, right? So those are my two: Nicholas Braun and Olivia Cook.
You know what? I want to change mine to Donald Glover and Maya Erskine.
Ooh,
Yeah, I want them to do it.
I would watch the shit out of that.
Yeah.
That one
Keep
wins.
in my original pick, just so you all can know how weird and swampy my brain is.
Oh my god, I would watch that so hard, man.
But yeah, Bring it on. All right. Well,
I mean, it's unfair because you got 2, so that's unfair. But it's okay.
okay, you can pick one.
No,
more.
I don't want more. I'm just saying, like, you got the best pick. Yours wins, but it's only because
I got to edit it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
Nighttime
I
is
would watch yours more than mine. Although I do love Nicholas Braun and Olivia Cook.
Sweet.
Cool. So that's our recap, and that's our episode.
That's it. Thanks for listening.
See y'all next time. Peace. The Blue Sky Podcast is produced by Adeel Shamsi and Jono Hunter, edited by Justin Stevenson, and this voiceover recorded by Kevin Brown. If you have an idea for a prompt, email us at theblueskypodcast@gmail.com or DM us at theblueskypodcast on Instagram.